What's up guys, Omor here with another video. Dungeons are a huge part of TBC, so in this guide series, we'll be going over every TBC dungeon in depth, covering both normal abilities and heroic abilities, trash abilities, loot, you name it. And what better place to start than the first dungeon we'll see in the Outlands, Hellfire Ramparts. Let's get into it. First off guys, if you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button to support the channel. I'm also live on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Drop by and let me know what you like or dislike about the videos, or what type of content you'd like to see next. The first trash mobs you will encounter are the Bone Chewer Hungerers and Raveners. The Hungerers are your classic meathead trash mobs and have demoralizing shout that reduces melee attack power, a disarm, and a discount heroic strike that is just called strike, hitting for increased melee damage. The Raveners only have one ability, and that is a kidney shot that will stun their target. Next up, we have the Bone Chewer Destroyers and Bleeding Hollow Archers. The Destroyers have a knockaway ability and a Mortal Strike which reduces healing received. This Mortal Strike can be dangerous if there are multiple Destroyers in one pack, so utilize crowd control and keep the extras sheeped or sapped while focusing on the other ones. Make sure you tank these guys with your back to a wall as to not pull more mobs when knocked away. The Archers have an aim shot that does high single target damage and a multi-shot that hits up to 3 targets. The tank should tank these facing away from the group so that they aren't hit with this ability. Bleeding Hollow Darkcasters aren't too scary. They have a Scorch and a Rain of Fire, so just move out of the AoE when it's casted on top of you. The Beastmasters and Associated Hounds, on the other hand, are pretty scary. The Beastmasters have an Uppercut that knocks the target back, and a Battle Shout that increases melee attack power of nearby allies. They will also summon 3 Shattered Hand Warhounds. Now these Warhounds aren't elite, but they shred, being able to take out Clothies in just a couple of hits, especially if multiple hounds are attacking the same target. You'll want to kill the Beastmaster as soon as possible so that he doesn't keep summoning more hounds. The hounds can be crowd controlled with Hibernate, Sheep, or Trap, so utilize that if they're going after your squishies. The last 2 trash mobs in this dungeon are the Bleeding Hollow Scryers and Bone Chewer Rippers. The Scryers have a Fear ability, a Shadow Bolt, and most importantly, Fel Infusion. The Scryers surrounding the Ripper will Fel Infuse him, which just makes him stronger overall. You're going to want to kill these Scryers ASAP before the Ripper gets too big. The Ripper has an Enrage that'll pop on the pole, so just tank this guy until the Scryers go down. The only changes to Trash and Heroic is that everyone will just do more damage, all the same abilities, so no new mechanics to worry about here. Now let's get into the bosses. The first boss we'll encounter is Watchkeeper Gargolmar. He has 4 abilities: an Overpower that can be used after his target dodges, a Retaliation that he will begin using at 30%, a Charge that does damage and knocks enemies back, and lastly, a Mortal Wound that reduces healing by 5% for 20 seconds and stacks. He is also accompanied by 2 Hellfire Watchers, who have a Heal, Renew, and Shadow Word Pain. You have 2 options for getting this boss down. You can crowd control the Watchers and focus the boss, or kill the Watchers first and then move on to the boss. The mechanics here are pretty straightforward, just pick a strategy and you'll get him down. In Heroic, the main change is that Mortal Wound reduces healing by 10% every stack, so you've got to be a little bit faster in Heroic. Notable top 3 Prebus loot off this boss is the Cloak of the Ever-Living for Resto Shamans. Next up is Omor the Unscarred. He has 5 abilities. He has a Shadow Bolt that just does shadow damage to his target, a Demonic Shield that reduces physical and magic damage by 75%, a Treacherous Aura that is cast on a player, doing shadow damage every second for 15 seconds and also doing that damage to anyone near that player, and a Shadow Whip that launches a melee player into the air, taking fall damage on the way down. Omor will also summon Fellhounds. They have a life drain, and in Heroic mode, they have an added mana drain. Going into the fight, you will want to tank the boss in the middle of the room so that the Shadow Whip doesn't launch somebody off the edge and out of the instance. Players will also want to spread 10 yards apart so that the Treacherous Aura only affects the person it is cast on. When the Fellhounds are summoned, take care of them quickly by either killing them or crowd controlling them with abilities like Ice Trap, Banish, Enslave, and Fear. Do this and Omor will go down easy. Some notable top 3 Prebus loot options here are the Crimson Bracers of Gloom for mages and warlocks, Mana Etched Gloves for elemental shamans, Foul Signet of Cleansing for resto shamans and druids, and Justice Bearer's Pauldrons for holy paladins. Lastly, we have Vazruden, accompanied by his trusty dragon Nazan. The fight starts with Vazruden dismounting from Nazan, and this guy isn't too much of a problem, only having a Revenge and Shield Slam ability. While fighting Vazruden, Nazan will be dropping fireballs onto the ground, so players will need to be aware of where these are and position themselves accordingly. Once Vazruden gets to 20% health, Nazan will land and will start casting another ability, Cone of Fire, which, surprisingly enough, does fire damage in a cone in front of him. In heroic mode, Nazan will also cast an AoE Fear. For this fight, you will just tank and spank Vazruden. Once he gets to 20%, the tank will pick up Nazan while the group finishes off Vazruden before moving on to Nazan. The tank will want to slowly backpedal around the platform to avoid the fire patches, with Nazan facing away from the rest of the group so that they aren't hit by the breath. In heroic mode, make sure you have a way to get rid of fear. Fear wards, trinkets, tremor totem, stance, whatever it takes to keep the main tank on the boss. This guy does a lot of damage, so keep the tank topped off and you'll be looting their corpses in no time. Notable top 3 pre-bis items here are the Vambraces of Daring for Prot Warriors, Light Scribe Bands for Holy Priest, and Chest Guard of the Prowler for Rogues. There you have it, guys, the very first dungeon you'll encounter in the Outlands. If you enjoyed this video, please hit this video with a like and subscribe to the channel. If you like this content and want to see more like it, I'm live on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That's it for me today though, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.